This is your last chance. Final day to enter for the Mustang. Grab yourself some merch off the site. Every $5 gets you an entry. Later. What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. Today, I just want to do the final, little finishing touches on my roof rack. So we got the rack built, got the lights all mounted on it and stuff. I never made this front piece, so we have to make a front, what is it called? A wind jammer or something? I don't know. We gotta make a front piece, and then I also want to make a piece that's gonna cover the back right here, just to clean up the look and make it look a little bit more presentable. You know, I don't like how you can see my rib nut back there and actually see the unistrut and everything right here. So I think closing that off is going to make it look a lot nicer. Whenever we first finished this rack and I drive the Blazer, it made a hellacious whistle, dude. It definitely whistled. The whistle has actually went away since we put the lights on. For whatever reason, the lights cured the whistle. Anyhow, I need to make a template, figure out exactly what it is we're going to do right here. And yeah, get to cutting out some aluminum. I want this thing to hang down a little bit past the rack, right? But we're not gonna be able to make a straight line going from one side to the other because the roof kind of humps up, you know? So it's gonna have to have a shape in it that it's gonna have to follow, the same as we did the sides right here. For that reason, I'm gonna have to make a template. I can't just simply measure and just cut everything straight. I went to Home Depot and I grabbed some of these paint shields. I used to use these a long time ago whenever I used to paint houses and stuff, and they used to be a lot bigger. They were 4 foot wide. Now this is 31 inches wide. Anyhow, this is what I get because I don't have any cardboard here at the house right now, so we're gonna have to tape a couple of these together. But if you're ever needing to make like some smaller templates or something and you need a nice flat piece of cardboard that's not just like a box, they have these at Home Depot, probably at Lowe's too. These things were 98 cents a piece. Alright, so I took one of these Home Depot pencils, these carpenter pencils, and I drilled a hole in it. This hole is perfect size to fit a Sharpie, right? Now, the measurement of this, where the hole is at, doesn't really matter. Like, knowing the measurement itself, we are going to use this as our measurement. So, coming over here where I have the cardboard taped up here, I put the pencil with my hole up here where it is I want it to be. Right, so I'm gonna want it to basically touch the roof right there. As you can see, where that hole is at is right where I started the cardboard. That's where I have it taped. You come over here on this side, it is the exact same thing. So that is right where I have the cardboard starting. So what I'm gonna do is put that Sharpie in here, and I just have to drag this across the roof. The only thing that I really need to focus on doing is keeping this flat on the cardboard as I am going across. So whenever I get that line on there in Sharpie and I take this tape off, this space right here from the bottom of the pencil to that hole is the amount that this is gonna drop down. So after I mark that amount all the way across and then I make a cut, when I drop this down to where the pencil is starting, then it shouldn't touch the Blazer. We should have a nice clean line that follows the contour of the roof perfectly. In theory, in theory. Hey, that's not too bad, huh? So that's what I've got, dude. I figured I'd also have a piece that wraps around the side over here and utilize that bolt. And then we have another bolting point. Well, we have two more bolting points right here in the front. I'll probably end up only using the lower one because the top one, I didn't actually have enough room to put a rib nut in because that bar is like right in the way. I mean, I could drill the bar out and stuff because it's kind of welded in there now. I could make room, but realistically I don't think that it's gonna need 2 bolts right here, though it would probably look cool. I don't know, rather than just having 1 bolt here and 1 bolt there, it would maybe throw it off. It'd probably look better with 2 bolts, but I don't know. Either way, that's the front one. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get to working on the back template. So the rear one, now, even though the roof does have a concave right here, I'm not going to try to follow that exactly. So this one, I'm going to be able to just basically pull measurements. Measure my distance here, and then I'm going to measure probably around right where the light is at. Measure that distance, and then go over there on our cardboard and then mark it and then connect the lines. You know what I mean? I have to measure from here to here, draw from a line from this point to this point, whatever that measurement is, connect the line. But I'm gonna want this to dip up basically so that you're able to see my third brake light still, and then come down and then follow the same measurements over here. So this is basically just gonna be all straight cuts, you know what I mean? I don't have to try to concave it the way the roof is. And then also, I don't really have to do the wraparound piece on the back, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that just for consistency, you know, so it matches the front one. And whenever I cut this out of aluminum, I'm not going to leave it at a point. We'll round it and make it look nice. I'm also kind of thinking about maybe knocking this corner. I see a lot of like aftermarket ones do that, and I think it's probably so you don't have this sharp point just constantly digging into the body if this thing is moving around at all. But anyhow, let's go ahead and get this template knocked out. I've already got my 2 pieces taped together, and I measured it. It is exactly 43 3/4 of an inch. So I have that marked here. So from the center here and the center here is the same measurement. So now I'm going to go back and forth and just, like I said, measure my distances. Come over here, measure, and then measure over, measure, connect the lines, all that kind of stuff. So I don't want this to be touching the top. We need to be a little bit away from it. My flat bar on the side is 4 inches. So this is gonna have to be a little over 4 inches because I do want it to hang down a little bit to kind of hide everything behind it, you know? So 4 inches, looks like we can go to, yeah, about 4 1/4. So at the very ends is gonna be 4 1/4. Check and make sure this one's the same. Since this guy is homemade, it could be a little different left to right. Yes, 4 1/4 will work. So from 4 1/4, we need to go in about, I'm gonna say 13 inches. 13 inches on both sides. So 4 1/4, then 13 inches over. All right, so I got my 4 1/4 mark on that end and on this end. And then I measured over 13 inches. That is this and this. So this is gonna be 4 1/4 on the ends. I need to see what the measurement is at 13 inches over. So come over 13 inches and I'm gonna mark it. Same on both sides. So now from the top of our rack to the body at 13 inches, we have 3 1/2. So, but I'm gonna come up just a little bit. So let's do 3 1/4. Will fit there, and 3 1/4 will fit there. All right, so at our 13 inch mark, we're gonna come up 3 1/4. 3 1/4. I'm just gonna make a little dot basically. 3 1/4. So now what we'll do is we're gonna take our straight edge, and from our 3 1/4 mark to our, what was it, 4 1/4? Yeah, 4 1/4 mark. We're just gonna line our straight edge up to our 2 marks and then draw a line. There's our first cut line. Do the same on the other side. From our 4 1/4 to our 3 1/4, draw our cut line. Wow. All right, now I need to go and measure and see how far up I need to come in order to clear my third brake light. So I do not want to go all the way flush to the bottom of this unistrut. I want it to hang down some. So right here at the third brake light, I'm gonna measure in the center because it looks like it is slightly concave, and that's gonna be the highest point, is right there in the middle. So if I come down, let's say 2 1/4, that will leave the third brake light completely exposed from directly behind. At 2 1/4, like if you're trying to look at the third brake light from like way up here, like down, of course you're not gonna see it. But what we're worried about is like traffic or whatever behind us to be able to see it. So come down 2 1/4 and we will be clear all the way across. Yes, sir. All right, so what that means is everything that is in between our 13-inch marks has to go to 2 1/4. So I'll just measure up right next to our 13-inch mark to 2 1/4 and mark it there. 2 1/4 there. And then just run our straight edge all the way across. There it is. All right, so on the far ends, we have, what was it, 3 1/4? I don't remember all the measurements now. 4 1/4, my apologies. 4 1/4 and then 3 1/4. So we have 4 1/4 and then it tapers into 3 1/4 within the 13 inches on both sides. And then right in the center, we have 2 1/4, so that sits above our third brake light. So the 13 inches, if you were to measure from the edge to the third brake light, it is actually 14 inches. I stayed an inch on each side for a reason. So now I can go ahead and mark 1 inch from here to here, mark 1 inch from here to here, and then I can connect the line from there up. So then we don't just have a weird looking corner right there, you know what I mean? It'll just kind of taper up. And then whenever this is all cut out of aluminum, of course I could sand that and just kind of make the corner a little rounded, you know, make it look nice. But anyhow, let's go ahead and get this cut out, and then we could tape it up there, test fit it, make sure everything works out, and then we have to make our side pieces to match those ones. All right, I opted to go ahead and make the little side pieces out of tape this time. It's just a little easier, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just sitting there cutting out a piece of cardboard, I just taped it and then kind of marked how it is I wanted it to look. But yeah, dude, there it is, man. So as you can see, you could 100% clearly see my third brake light. And I think it looked a little, like the shape of it looked a little weird over there on the bench, but once you get it over here on the truck, it all makes sense and it doesn't look as bad. So again, this is all just straight cuts, you know what I mean? And then of course I'll bevel the edges a little bit, make it look nice and professional whenever we get it cut out of aluminum. But now is the fun part, man. We gotta pull our templates off. I need to go through all my scrap aluminum over there and find a couple of pieces large enough. Now for the most part, doing this template method, this front one, I am going to need to utilize the template to get this radius, you know what I mean? But as far as like from here to here was 6 inches, I'll probably end up marking out on my aluminum. I'll mark out a 6-inch square. I'll measure the width. I'll mark that all out. and then I'll use the template. I'll line the template up to my markings and then just get this, you know what I mean, draw the radius on there. It's a lot better to actually measure everything and use a straight edge to get all these straight marks and everything, rather than using the template, because the template, the cardboard, then it can kind of get a little wavy, or you can end up oversizing things where you don't want it oversized because you're marking on the outside, you know. And then the back one, the template is for the most part just to get a visual of how our measurements are like lining up and how it looks. So every single bit of this I'm able to replicate, just measuring it the same way that we did on the template. So I'm just gonna repeat that process on the aluminum instead of actually tracing out this template. The only thing that I'll probably end up using is these side pieces right here, because I kind of eyeballed that. I didn't really measure it, you know. So just to give you guys an idea, it's not as easy as just setting this cardboard on there, tracing it, and then cutting. All right, found myself a pretty good sized piece of aluminum. I might. Okay. Okay, yeah, we're gonna be good. It's, dude, oh my God, it's gonna be just, yeah, it's gonna be good. Either way, long story short. Anyhow, I found myself a piece of aluminum that I think is going to be wide enough this way that we might be able to make both of them. It looks like it will be. Anyhow, if you guys haven't seen me use this before, I know I've used it quite often on the channel, but I think the last time I used it has been a really long time. So if you didn't know what this is transfer tape. This is for making stickers, man. So I make all my own stickers here at the house. All the stuff that's on the website gets made right here at the house. I have my own vinyl plotter, and this is the transfer tape. You know, whenever you get a sticker, you place the sticker. This is the stuff that you peel off of it after you put it on, you know. Anyhow, I like using this stuff for mapping out what it is I'm gonna cut. It makes it a lot easier to mark on the aluminum, because I need to go and find a pencil or something. It's a lot better to make your marks and your cut lines out of a pencil rather than a Sharpie, because if you've ever followed a Sharpie mark with a jigsaw, you know it's either you're on the left hand side of it, the right hand side of it, or right in the center of it, especially whenever this tip has been dulled out a little bit and it's not super fine. So I like to make my cut lines out of something as fine as possible. If I don't find a pencil, then I'll use a pen. Anyhow, it makes it a lot easier to write on the aluminum whenever it has this transfer tape on it, because it's literally like paper, bro. And also your marks stand out a lot better. Alright, got this thing all marked out, man. So I was able to fit both of them on one piece. So this is the front and this is the back. I know it's really hard to see because it's in pen. Really hard to see on the camera anyhow. So now we just have to cut it out. That's the fun part. Cut it out, follow our lines as straight and accurate as we possibly can. You following me, buddy? Are you following me? Dude, if you see him from straight on, he looks like Cousin It. It's so hilarious. Anyhow, here's another tip for you guys. Oh, look at that. Crickets. Crickets. Arthur, come get the crickets. Yeah, crickets seem to love this piece of foam. Anyhow, get yourself a thick piece of foam like this. It is absolutely amazing for cutting out things like this. So just slap this aluminum on here, and then I can just freely cut with my jigsaw because I don't need it stood up. The jigsaw, you know, just cuts into the foam. You can see all the lines from stuff I've already cut. And you have a nice solid surface. This thing is supported. The entirety of it is supported, you know what I mean? This is huge whenever it comes to cutting things out with a jigsaw. So anyhow, wish me luck. I gotta follow the lines as close as I can. All right, got these things all cut out and for the most part cleaned up. I'm probably gonna need to do a little bit more cleaning up after I remove the transfer tape, but I wanna kind of mock them up on the roof rack and make sure that my bend lines are going to be where it is that they are. Cause I don't wanna just go off of that and go and bend it and then it be too tight, you know what I mean? So basically I need to get the front one mocked up, make sure it's good and centered. And then what I'll do is mark the back in relation where the rack is actually sitting on it, you know, where it's physically sitting on it. And that will be my bend line rather than going off of these from the template. It's just reassurance, just double checking, you know, make sure that I don't bend this and end up being too small and then we have to completely remake another one. I'm not gonna record all that. I'm just gonna get through it really quick. Get my lines marked and then, yeah, dude, just have to bend it and then I'll remove the transfer tape, finish cleaning it up. And then we'll be able to actually install them for the first time. Because we're gonna have to take them off to paint them, but you know. Hey, hey, quiet on set. Go lay an egg or something, you know? What is up, man? There it is. So they fit so well that they actually just stay up there without any bolts in it. But speaking of bolts, that's what I gotta do next. I gotta drill the holes and yeah, gotta drill holes for the mounting. The back side, so we're gonna have a bolt on each side, obviously, but I also need to drill some holes here. And I gotta measure it. I'm probably gonna do the same spacing that I did on the side. Maybe, I don't know. It's probably gonna be a lot of bolts. Anyhow, I'm just gonna do, so we have one there. I need to do maybe just two in the center, like one here and one here. Something to actually hold it right in the middle because yeah, as of right now, there's nothing attaching it in the center. So I need to drill holes, put rib nuts for that, and then yeah, other than that, I gotta drill the holes on the sides, and then I need to figure out where the hole is that's behind this so we can put a bolt in the front. But hell yeah, dude, it's coming out pretty clean. I'm actually really stoked to see this done. The only problem is I don't think that I have enough of my paint left that I used. Yeah, this thing is, it's pretty close to empty. I don't know. I'm gonna see how far I can get this to stretch. I might have to go and get another can of that, but I hate having to break off from a project to go buy something, but I should have thought about it. I was just at Home Depot. Well, there it is, guys. That's the final touch to the roof rack. Well, actually, I can't say it's the final touch. I mean, technically, the roof rack is finished, but there is still something else that I'm wanting to do in the future because I need to get a pipe bender. I want to build a brush guard that'll actually attach to these bolting points right here, and it's gonna run up, and I want it to basically be a guard for the lights. Something that, you know, if I run into bushes or trees or whatever, it's gonna hit that pipe and just push it out of the way rather than it hitting my lights, you know? I want to build a brush guard for the front, and I'm also thinking about doing something for the rear as well that just kind of comes up and goes up over these ones, because then if I were to do a front and a rear, I would still be able to put the canoe up here. It would give something for the canoe to sit on top of, because as of right now, I can't put the canoe on top of the freaking Blazer because it would be sitting on the lights, you know? But anyhow, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like it. Well, actually, honestly, I don't give a shit if you like it or not. I'm just I'm playing. That's whenever I say things like that, I'm referencing to people that leave hateful comments all the time. Not my DB fam, you know what I'm saying? I definitely love how it came out. I think it gives it like a completed look, dude, for lack of a better term. And I do think that these little fins that I put on the front kind of made it look just ever so slightly more aggressive. And everything is super strong, dude. That's another thing that I really like about building this thing myself, is it is really strong. Whenever you buy aftermarket things like this, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. A lot of the times it just has a strong look to it. It's not actually strong, but that thing is beefy as all hell, buddy. There it is, man. Seats are reinstalled. Interior is complete and looks 1,000 times better than what it did. Today is 100% your last day to enter. Giveaway ends tomorrow, so we are going to be going live tomorrow for Halloween, drawing a winner for this thing. So make sure that you guys are paying attention. What we're going to be doing, like I've mentioned already, is going through all of your names, everybody who has entered the giveaway, and showing your tickets going into the drum before we actually pull a winner for this thing. I just want to make sure that all my DB fam, everybody who has entered this giveaway, 100% knows confidently that their tickets are in there, dude, because I'm sick and tired of people saying that winners are already predetermined and all this kind of stuff. I don't cheat. I don't want to cheat you guys. I would never do my DB fam that way. So it's going to be a lengthy process, but that's what we're going to do. But anyhow, guys, the Mustang is complete. There's one thing I still need to do. I'm going to go and pick up a brand new battery for this thing because the battery that was in it was junk. Currently, I have the battery out of Jessica's Integra in there, which doesn't fit correctly. So I will be putting a brand new battery in it. It's going to be a Walmart battery, just letting you know. But it'll at least have a new battery. But anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do smash the like button. And of course, if you want to enter to win this New Edge Mustang, link is in the description down below, man. This is 100% your last chance. Just go grab a Deadbeat script sticker, dude. It's 10 bucks and it gets you 2 entries. At least your name will be in that drum tomorrow whenever we go live to pick who the new owner is. Later.